Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are graced in the studio by the legend himself, Adjetey Sowah. As a kid, I woke up one day to the news of Adjetey Sowah winning the World Dance Championship. I think at the time it was sponsored by Malibu. And from that time onwards, I started learning to dance. I don't know whether the teacher who was teaching me was not great, or it's just that I just wasn't born to dance. But he was born to dance, and he did dance, and probably still dances. Welcome to the Asaase Breakfast Show, Adjetey.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do you still dance?
Yeah, I do.
Okay. Is that how you keep fit?
Sure.
Because so is it, first of all, what I'm intrigued by this. When did you realize you could dance?
I realized I could dance, and when I was in school, that was, let me say this, the thing is in the blood. My father used to be a rock and roll dancer back in the 60s, yeah. Okay. So it's somewhere in the blood. And when I was in school, Lincoln International School, around class 5, there was a traditional dance group, which I was part of it. I was even leading the group. So that's when I realized that, yeah, Charlie,
you can do it.
Yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
Wow, but you see, Nhyira, I said something interesting. It's in the blood. And it's not surprising that I can't dance, because my father can't dance to save his life.
Join the club.
If you ever get into a spot of bother and you need somebody to dance to save you, don't look my way or my father's way. But Adjetey is here. He can help you with that. Now, you hit the limelight at a very young age. Looking back, would you say that you've handled the pressures of the fame well?
Of course, I've handled it well. It's just that just a little bit that let me say, I didn't take my education that serious, which I regret. I mean, that's it. But apart from that, everything's good.
You mean formal education, going to collect degrees and...
That's part of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, but I guess that our lives are testaments for others to follow. So if you speak to a young person today, you have a reason to encourage them, to go back to school
and take their education serious. Yeah.
In the early 80s, this is 1986 is when you won the dance championship. We had just come out of a famine in 1983. Exactly what was inspiring you at that time to think that you should travel and go and compete for a dance crown on a global stage?
Okay, the dancing competition started way back, like 81 going. There's dancing competition almost everywhere. Because back in the days, like this time you have the Shatawales and the Stone Boy, but dancing competition was all over. It's bigger than even the music system and stuff like that. So it's like they used to do dancing competition everywhere. So the first competition that I won was Jato Chrome. That was in Tema.
Okay.
KKD was the DJ. Back then he was a young DJ. His father owned the place, and that was that was the first competition. And then after that, in '83, they have a Babylon dancing competition, which I saw G-Man. G-Man.
Alex Adjeman.
Yeah. G-Man won the '82 Babylon dancing. That was like a national one, because it's like back in the days, Babylon. All the clubs do their thing. These days, after that, before, Embassy Double do.
Okay.
But back, in the 82, we have all the clubs do their thing, and then all the dancers from other regions. If you are good, then you have to be part of the Babylon night, Babylon dancing competition.
Wow.
So I took part in '83. By then I was in Laboni. So around Laboni, around that time, almost all the clubs around, the KTK, Black Caesar, Babylon Night Club, almost all of them are around. So I saw Jim, like I said, and I was like, okay, that's the biggest one around that time. So so in '83 I took part of it, and I won as well.
Oh wow.
So that's when I realized that, okay, then Nafti Studio start, dancing competition as well, which was in Black Caesar. So every year it's like a national distance. So most of the time they do it in a club, like Black Caesar will do theirs, KTK will do theirs, Funky Town will do, City Buy Joy will do theirs, and then all the dancers come together, and then the finals will do it at right now it's called Golden Tulip. Back in the days they used to call the place Buko Night Club.
Okay.
So that's where the finals was held. Yeah.
That's interesting. Now, let's take a step away from the dance and just describe to us the scene of the 80s. The Ghana in the 80s that birthed your desire to dance. What was it like living in Accra at that time?
Well, in the 80s, let's say we have the coup and whereby, sometimes you have to queue for food and stuff like that. But then dancing was there, and that's what motivates, a lot of guys, in the night, people pay to go and watch dancing competition. That's the entertainment everywhere. I used to dance almost like, almost all the, not clubs, but then we have this sub like we have Dansoma, we have King Solomon, Manprobe have theirs, Circle, around Circle, we have Apollo Theater, we have the Spark Center, Tiptoe, they all do their dancing competition.
So all the entertainment venues had
dancing competition because the promoters, that's what people attend to, to make money out of it. So dancing competition was everywhere. So, and I started making money out of it. So I'm like, okay, in future it's all about, it's all about money. So why? I'm making money now. So why? That's the reason why I didn't take my education last year. But like I said,
So you started making money early.
Yeah.
What did you use it for?
Let me say, I started building as well. At the age of 19, I started building.
Are you kidding? Yeah. You started building at 19?
Yeah, because the money was coming, and I was like, what to do with it. My father advised me, Charlie, it's time to do something. I started.
God bless your father, because I can imagine if I was making that kind of money at 19. The Tiptoe area there was a whole lane of Yeleke Chofio.
Charlie, we party a lot, like every night after the competition. You remember Chofio and Yeleke.
But that's really good. That so at 19 you started building.
Yeah.
Would you say that's contributed to why you stayed grounded?
Yes.
The period you mentioned, growing up and following a bit of the news around the dance scene, obviously your name was always mentioned because you had won championship here in Ghana and gone out there and beaten the world. But there were other contemporaries that you were dancing with, the late Alexa Fori, for example. Who were the other people in that time that you danced with, and how was the rivalry like?
Okay, the rivalry started, I think, 83, Black Season 83, whereby Reggie Rockstone won, which
I'll beat you in a dance competition.
But he knows what he did, but he has a connection with Nafti, so they did something, whatever it is. So that was 83. So then I realized that there's something good. It's like the name Adjetey Sowah was so big that they need somebody to bring him down, something like that. So there was a plot to it. So I was like, okay, in 83 he won, and then 83 he won. So 84 I was ready for all kinds of whatever it is. So around 84 we started making money, and like I'm saying, Reggie was in my camp. Almost all the dancers were in my camp. So when we are going to perform, we all know what to do. Everybody know what we are doing. So we took part in it. Reggie was part of it as well, the 84 dancing competition. But when he gets to the finals, he knows what I'm doing because we all train in the same house. We have a place called Robot House around Circle, and then we all train as well. So he knows what I'm going to do. When he gets to the finals, he was like, "No, I'm not doing. I'm not part." So they asked him to do what do you call it, Sada trashing, which he did. So I'm like, if you have a pain in your leg, why don't you do the competition then? But he knows what I'm going to do. So he said, no, Adjetey, with this music, I know.
I'm not coming near you.
But then they have another plan too with, let me say this guy, Terry Ofusu, he's a label right now.
Terry.
I think, like I'm saying, they always want something to, so normally we don't do high life dance. But that particular competition, the finals, and then all of a sudden we're like, we are doing high life. Which Terry know about it. Nobody know about it.
Okay.
Terry know about it. So what saved me was that across the street, now I think it's the driving license area, the police
the DVLA,
residents over there. So across the street, I went over ask one police guy, this is what is going on. I need a cloth, because normally when you are doing the high life, you need a cloth to do something like that. So I need a cloth. He was like, okay, no problem. I'll give you the cloth, but make sure you get me inside because I also want to watch. I said, no problem. He gave me the cloth. As soon as I enter, whatever I'm wearing, I just took it off and they mentioned my name, Adjetey, so I just put the cloth and
and went on and did your thing.
Went on and did my. So now they don't have anything against me, like So that's when I won 84. So since then, any other dancing competition, I always take my money before.
Get your money, But you talked about, that you spend time practicing at Robot House.
Yes.
I mean, how many hours a day did you put in to perfect your craft?
Do we even think about it? So far as after we eat and we just play the music and we do our thing. In the house it's like dance, sleep dance, eat dance, and we just do our thing. Yeah,
Well, it's not surprising.
And we're not doing it just in Accra. I mean, from 84 going, we're doing all over the region. And the promoters come mostly for me. And then I'll be like, I'm going with Reggie, I'm going with Alex, I'm going with TP, all the dancers that are choosing.
And this were all your people.
And then there's dancing competition out there too. But before we go there, we take our money because they have other dancers out there too. That, like I'm saying, they wanted maybe to bring me down or,
well, they
somebody
also
else
want
to
the
win.
spotlight.
The spotlight. So we always take our money first.
That's a good one. Now, some of the costumes. I mean, if you're following our stream, we'll be showing a video on, showing Adjetey in action at that time. But, I mean, the costume, Charlie, who designed this costume?
There's a guy called Tommy. He used to stay at Labadi Estate. Yeah. He always followed dancers and stuff like that. So he always creates something around it. So when I was in London and I called him and I was like, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I need a costume. Then he just did it for me and just sent it to me. Yeah.
Was this trip to the competition your first travel abroad?
Yeah, that was my first travel. What do you call it? In 84, I saw, like I said, G-Man did the World Dancing Competition as well,
That's right.
which he was out for. I mean, the beginning he was out, prelims he was out.
Okay.
So I say, okay, this is my target. I mean, I have to be there too because that's the ultimate. So I said, okay, I have to be there. So in 85, I traveled to London, which I was supposed to be part of it in 85, but then I was a little bit late because I got there around somewhere in November, which their competition is starting on, December. So they were like, I have to show them something that shows that I'm a champion in Ghana, whatever it is. So I just give them the NAFTI dancing competition in 84, this thing, which I represented. And they said, okay, so we're going to make sure that you'll be part of the 86.
Okay.
Yeah. So we started this thing before Asaase Breakfast Show, so I wasn't part of it.
Wow. Yeah, because I never saw you on that. And by then you were a world champion now. With the local champion business, but on a more serious note, what did you, apart from your desire to go and compete, leaving Ghana, did you feel within you that you had what it takes to win the World Dance Champions?
Of course, because it's like I'm saying, all over Ghana, I'm, Adjetey Sowah, I'm like, I mean, just Ghana. Look, I have to go out there too. So, I mean, going to the World Dancing Competition, I wasn't going there to win the World Dancing Competition. I'm like, okay, you know what? The World Dancing Competition, they always show the 8 finalists. 8 finalists, they always show it to the world. So let me be part of it, let me be part of, I'm trying to make sure that, I'm part of the 8, that Ghana will see me. I just want Ghana to see me that, yeah, I'm there. That's it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you flew Ghana Airways to Heathrow.
Oh, yeah, but back in the days, it's just like, I think 6,000 cities. No, is it 6,000 or 600?
600, yeah.
Something like that, yeah.
But you already had money. By then you were already a homeowner. So you were ready to do that. I mean, what was the experience like arriving, in Obimansu, going through immigration, meeting people, all these plenty people at the airport, being busy and all that?
That's another problem right there. Like I'm saying, going to London, I was thinking, going to London is just like taking, a car from Teshin to Accra. Just like, so a week before I went to the airport to check, I'm traveling, so let me see what I'm, where it is and where I have to go and whatever. So I met this guy in London, and it was like, oh, okay, you know what? Adjetey Jelly, I'm going to London. Where are you going? I said, oh, in a week's time I'll be going to London. So he said, okay. He took my number, and I also, take his number. So he said, when you get to London, call me. I got to London, like I'm saying. So I got to London. I don't know anybody right then. So I thought, just like going to Accra, so that when I get to London, then I'll try and get into the Malibu dancing competition thing. I get to London, and I was like, who are you coming to? I don't know. I thought I was just going to. I said, I'm coming to London for, to be part of it. So I'll get a hotel and blah, blah, blah. And we were like, nah, it's not like that. So I was put on deportation.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Did they? So you came? They brought you back, or
nope?
So you were put in a detention center.
Detention. I mean, by God's grace, God wanted me to go through. So let me say. So I was there, and then I realized that this guy gave me a phone number to call him. He's in London, so I called him, and he was like, "Oh, okay, so that's where you are." I said, "Okay, there's a place for all of us, all kinds of Ghanaians over there." So then I called him. He said, "Okay." I told him they're visiting hours and whatever it is. So he said, okay, it's going to come. But then I realized that the place is like, a place that I can get out. So I told him, I was a little bit smart. Teshi,
yeah.
Street smart.
Teshi, they carry last.
Yeah, so I told him, look, when you're coming, don't write your address or whatever, stuff like that. You can use different address or whatever it is. And then he said, okay, no problem. So he came over. And then I was there, and they called me, and, Charlie, you have a visitor. So I went there, I left my passport, everything. At the, what do you call it? Visiting room, whatever it is. We're there. Then all of a sudden they were like, oh, okay, all visitors, you get out. Those days, back in the days, we used to do curls, jelly curl, whatever it is. So, they think, this guy is not from Ghana or whatever. I don't know. So I just followed the guy out.
Walked out?
I was a little bit shaky, but we just walked out, and then that was it.
Yeesh. Yeesh.
You
walked out of the detention center.
On your way to winning the World Dance Championship, you escaped from detention.
Yeah.
When you finally walked out,
that was when I realized that God is with me.
I'm lost for words, Nhyira.
The combination of just sheer raw talent and street smarts is what gets me. And we were talking a little bit about it off air, but I have to ask you, what is it about Teshi that produces people, the street smarts you can get a bit, but what is it that produces the talent, the dancing talent? Because it carries on to this day. You got the Teshi Dance Academy, collaborations with Beyonce, this, that, and the other. What is it about Teshi that makes you guys such great talents?
Let me put it this way. I think the Fisher Folks at Teshi, it's like they are more. Even though we have, other, like the Ghana area, we have the Fisher Folks, the shows that they go to fish and all that. But then we are more, there's more Teshi Fisher Folks. And then, when coming back, with the Jamal, singing and dancing, pulling the net to, so it's like the dance started from there. The dance started.
You have there. Like a natural
and that's the whole thing that, entertain the guys and all that. Back in the day, so it's like I'm saying, it's in the blood.
There's a homegrown culture of entertainment. But there's lots of, like you said, apart from the fact that there are lots of other fishing villages all the way from from Aflao to kind of to Elubo or Jawewaf. There's lots of other fishing communities, and some of them quite big. In the western region there is the Jama thing in Takrade with the masquerades or whatever, but it's a sort of very
you just mentioned it, masquerade. When you mention masquerade, it's from that area. So the dance and the Jama thing. Even though they all have things like that, but then Teshi have it bigger.
They have it, but what makes you guys loud and gives you more front? I haven't heard of any guy from Sekondi Takrade, whether it's Ifiekuma or any, go to the World Dance Championships in the 1980s, escape from a detention center and go on and win the world title. What gives you that kind of confidence and front and energy?
Like I'm saying, you know, touching guy is always a touching guy.
Always touchy people. What is the essence?
If you know what you want, you know what you want, and you want to achieve it, you know, even though you have to, you know, it's not something that is, I mean, you have to go and steal or whatever it is, but you have to, I mean, you have to focus.
Right.
You have to focus, and I mean, with determination, you get there. You know, so that was, I mean, with God on my side, like I'm saying, my mother and my father, you know, they are Christians, so we pray a lot, and I used to pray. I mean, even though in Ghana, I used to go to the club, do my thing and whatever it is. I mean, 7 o'clock, I have to, I mean, get home like 4 o'clock or whatever it is from the club. 7 o'clock, I have to go to church.
Wow.
Oh, really?
So
Sunday morning, 7 o'clock.
But when you are out at the clubs, I mean, these are places where, as people will say, you know, you pick up vices.
There's a lot of sin happening around you.
Vice?
Advice?
Yeah, no, vice. I in some stuff you shouldn't have done that you are doing.
No.
So for you, it was just dancing?
Just dance, because I don't smoke, I don't drink, you know. I don't do those.
And the other one?
The other one, which one?
Apparently, so someone.
I mean, if you don't smoke, if you don't drink, there's another one.
There's another one.
That one, yeah.
That one.
That one, yeah. Because I don't like watching TV as well. So that's
you don't like watching TV, okay? All right, that's fine. Really, but I mean, for a person who was very celebrated at that time and at a very young age, I mean, the girls will be checking for you. I mean, you're a good-looking guy, and you had talent, and you were popular.
I mean, that's another thing that I regret as well. I can say in a little bit. I was a little bit with my eyes. I mean, those days, it's not like you going after them, but they come, you know.
Yeah, but I say you are there. You're a superstar. You know, everybody wants to come in.
So they come. And I remember one day we're going to Kumasi. And then by then we're at Apollo Theatre. We're going to Kumasi the following day. And then a day before, there was a program at Apollo Theatre whereby after finishing, there was this girl that said, okay, I think she stayed at Labone somewhere. So she said, oh, it's kind of late. So, you know, because we stayed just behind Apollo Theatre, she stayed over, and then the following day go. Okay, so she went. I mean, the following day, that was the day that we were going to Kumasi to perform as well. So we came back on Monday, and then, I mean, the house, all of a sudden, there was a police in the house, and I was like, what is going on? They said, okay, I kidnapped somebody, you know. I said, what? I did what? You know, I'm not even there, you know, in Accra yet. We went to Kumasi to perform so hard. They said this girl left the house, and, you know, she said she was with me. I said, no, that's not true. I mean, back in the days, you know, I mean, they take you to the police station. They don't even ask you before you
collect some tea. It's encouragement to speak the truth.
So I have to tell them, look, I was in the country, you know, this guy, I mean, I was in the, Accra, I was in town, and I even showed them the poster, the program, whatever it is, before they believe me, and they, you know, by then, you know, you get one already.
Ouch.
Free slap.
So like, that was it, you know.
But do you?
I think she left the house maybe a week or whatever it is, and then she have to use me as a scapegoat. I don't know, yeah.
Oh. Where do you say?
Alibi.
You know,
painful alibi.
Very, very painful one indeed, literally. But if you look back at it, so I mean, you when I asked you about, you know, being in the spotlight and the pressures, or you know, from female company and all that, you said it's one thing you regret. What about it do you regret?
Come again.
What about that part of your life do you regret that you look back and wish you'd have done differently?
That's what I'm saying. You know, I didn't take my education that serious. Okay. Which, you know, because I was making money. So, I mean, from Form 3, you know, we have the AO level. From Form 3 to Form 5. I didn't take, you know, I wasn't that serious, because back then I was traveling all over the country. Instead of me to go to school with books or whatever, I go to school with money. You know, a couple of friends would just chill around and stuff like that. So I didn't take my education that serious. And also, like I'm saying, the womanizing thing too. I was, you know.
Are you married now?
No, I used to, you know, but I got 7 kids.
Wow. Perfect 7. Right. So we'll come back to your family in a bit, but I'm interested in learning what the relationship with the folk that you danced with. You mentioned Terry Ofosu, Reggie Osei, or Reggie Rockstone, Alex Ofori, may he rest in peace. Yeah. Alex, what was your relationship with Alex at the time?
Let me put it this way. Alex was my, you know, it's like those days he was like my small boy.
Right.
So he stays at we were in what do you call it? Robot House, and then few meters from our place is called Toffee House. So that's where Alex come from. So I think there was a program at Polo Theater. We did our thing, and backstage I saw him doing something. I was like, okay, this guy is is good. We can work with him. So that's when Alex became part of us. So the relationship was massive. Yeah.
What at that time when you saw him? What did you imagine him to become?
Yeah, because I see the potential that this guy can be like me. He can, because he was doing similar things that I was doing, but even though you can see that this guy can do better. So he became part of me, and he was doing almost all my dances. Yeah. Anything that Alex also can create his own stuff like that. It was great. I think he won Ambassador Bodu a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Right. Now, how do you? I mean, this is somebody who you travel, you came back, and he had fallen on hard times and things like that. Did you reach out to him?
Of course, I was taking care of Alex till he passed away. I was with him till he passed away. I was even the one who took him to the market and all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. If you just tuned in, it's 37 minutes past 9 on the Asaase Breakfast Show. We're talking to the King of Dance, Adjetey Sowah. And we just laid out a red carpet to celebrate greatness on this show on Wednesdays. And we have none other than the first African, the first and only Ghanaian to have won the World Dance Championship. And the man still dances. If you are Reggie's contemporary, then you are in your mid-50s or somewhere
not mid, close to
60.
Yeah.
Hey, this is not fair. This guy, hey, look at him. He looks younger than me.
This is another thing that is just, is it a Teshi B thing, or is it just a special physical endowment that you have?
Let me put it this way.
Are you double jointed?
Is the dance, the vibe, and then the grace that is upon me.
Yeah.
And when you exercise a lot, and then let me put it, I think short guys too,
we don't age by heart.
Yeah.
You preserve better. You definitely preserve.
Yeah.
But in fact, one of our listeners, one of our most eloquent viewers, Abdul Basit Mahama, has a question for you, because it's exactly the same thing. Physically, how did you manage it? He says, how was Mr. Sowah able to do the moonwalk and the backslide so effortlessly right here on Earth, literally disobeying Newton's law of gravitation? And he says, good morning to you, legend. Good morning, Mr. Moonwalker.
Good morning.
But how I mean, it looked like we saw the film there, the outtake from the World Dance Show. How do you do those moves? How do you get your body just to you're lying flat, face down on the stage, and you're kind of like just lifting yourself up with your stomach muscles and your feet, not your arms? How do you do it?
It's part of the exercise. But then let me say, the moonwalk we started. Michael Jackson mentioned it, moonwalk, but then we were doing it already. We were calling it backslide then.
Before Michael Jackson
Michael Jackson came out with the moonwalk on Motown 25,
which was I think in 1989 or so. Or
no,
the Thriller album.
No, let me say 84 somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were doing it before that?
Doing it already because we started learning from Jeffrey Daniels. Back in the days, and there was this Soul Train, and Jeffrey Daniels was part of it. I think there was a group. Shalamar.
I was going to say, is it Kool and the Gang or Shalamar?
Yeah, Shalamar. Yeah, and then he is the dancer among them, and he started this moonwalk thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So Nhyira, I just want to see if I can pull this off. Hello. Good morning. Hi. How are you? Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Reggie
Rockstone.
What did you do?
Me pacho debi na yenya wache dia.
Munya wache amezi.
Me pacho yenya wache ebidi pa.
Special birthday.
Pajo.
Yeah, man. Yeah, Reggie.
Listen. I got all the receipts.
You have all the receipts, oh?
Yes.
Okay,
so...
At all.
Listen, I got so much history, so much knowledge, so much experiences with that man is worthy of 2 books.
Then we must write it.
Yes, I am Reggie Rockstone.
We must write it. You know, but Reggie, on a you know, just following off of the back of that, you and I have had conversations that maybe the world out there do not know. But you were Dadabi, right?
It's subjectable. Okay, let me explain it like this. Today, in today's terms, you might see it so, but if you ask Adjetey when he really found out how simple my life was, it totally changes his whole view on how I was living. Because for most of the time, I was in the hood. I literally lived with that man. Right there, Apollo Theater in back.
Robot House.
Robot House. You know, and we ate together. We went everywhere. We made money together. That man taught me how to make money. Listen, you don't even understand. This man, listen, that man is the blueprint. Without Adjetey Sowah, nightlife in Accra, as we know it, nightlife in Accra as we know it, would not be what it is. It's that man. And that's my boss. You understand me? If everyone has someone that they learn from, that's one of my bosses there. He showed me how to count money, how to business. Advance. Advance. Yeah. Now advance no say I still I don't know about with you and you too much I don't know about with you.
But you beat him once. How did that happen, Reggie? You won against him once. I think it was a Babylon.
I am the only living human being who has ever beaten that man sitting there. And even that beating self is debatable. But today I find but nobody's ever beaten him. No one.
But Reggie,
no one.
Tell us, at the time that, I mean, he mentioned it earlier that, you know, he felt also that win was debatable. But you guys stayed friends throughout. I mean, how were you left the place together after the competition?
Yes.
What was it like?
This is what makes Adjetey so special. Adjetey knew the difference between business and friendship. You understand me? He was one of those guys. The show must go on. You know, rest in peace, Alex Ofori. You know, we are a whole crew. We're like a family. And if we had carried on that same tradition in the music vein, Jesus, we would be huge. Because everything we ate together. I mean, if I got paid, he was getting paid. If he got paid, he made sure that I got paid. You know, it was just a really beautiful times, man.
Wow. Reggie, thanks very much for pulling this nice surprise on.
Most definitely. And oh, by the way, we did the moonwalk before Michael Jackson. I hope you know that.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
We do.
Thank you.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. Thanks very much. That was Reggie Rockstone, you know, calling into the show to salute his boss. You know, the humility that I'm beginning to see a similarity, that the humility that Reggie has, you have that as well. What about, is it the times you grew up? What has kept you grounded? Like, you know,
Well, I think for my parents, you know, they're cool. So I think I learned from them. You know, it's like, and then the Christianity side as well, you know, you have to humble yourself and make sure that, you know, everything go according to. I mean, people think because I'm a dancer, I used to smoke, I used to drink, you know. You know, I'm in good with them all as well. But then that doesn't mean that I didn't do it at all. And I keep telling them, look, like one of the guys I call Carlos Alberto, he was a great dancer. As well.
Yes, I remember the name.
He have to go on stage, do all kinds of things. He'll be like, Adjetey, tell me when you try this. And I said, I've been winning all the competitions. So even, I mean, without it, I'm winning. So why should I go back and do that? You know, I think he also passed away due to the same, you know, kinds of violence. Yeah.
Wow, Carlos Alberto, I remember that name. Yeah. You know, and this was a time. So at the time, if you'd not that if you'd remember, if my memory serves me right, there was also the sound system thing starting. The spinning grooves were starting.
Skyhawks, you know.
Moondogs and all those
yeah,
other.
all those people, yeah.
What was it like? You know, if you look at Ghana then and Ghana now, would you say that in terms of our entertainment, we've made advancements, or there's some things that we probably need to go back to? And
in terms of, I mean, you're talking about dance.
Yeah, the music and dance.
The music and dance. The music is gone far,
Okay.
and then the dance is also, you know, because we have these guys like Dance God, Afonita, Incredible Ziggy, which, I mean, they're also making it out. I mean, they are not just in Ghana, but out there, they are putting Ghana on the map, and then they are doing their thing. I mean, this is the way they, you know, when you go on TikTok or, you know, social media, you see them doing their thing, and they have huge followers that, you know. So I can say our time is more of the dancing competition stuff, and then this time too, they are putting out there, the, you know, the social media thing, and they are doing great. They are selling Ghana out. I mean, artists from outside, international artists, pay them to choreograph in their music and stuff like that. So I think they're also doing their thing. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you what difference you think if you had management, you know, kind of proper structures, people, you were very business minded, as Reggie says, you're the master, get your money first, don't wait until after the competition, all those sorts of things. You were savvy. But if you'd had in place the kinds of artiste management that both musicians and even some performing artists have today, what difference it might have made back in the early 80s?
You know what, let me put it this way. I have the business mind because I mean, when I was little, I used to sell bread, you know. I used to sell bread around, and it's like, that's part of it too. I didn't take my education as I mean, at a long age, my mother used to sell bread, so I have to carry it around and sell it. And then now it's like, whenever they sell, I have to sell it. It's like, if the price is like, you know, back in 5 pesos or something like that, I have to put maybe, I have to go out there and sell it like 7 or 6, you know, that doesn't belong to my mom or whatever.
But then
they don't even know. They don't even.
Joe profits.
Yeah, that's my profit. You know, so.
Wow.
Age how old? About 8.
How old?
From 8 years ago, you know, I started selling, and I have that, you know, in mind, you know, making money, and that the motivation was like to make that money because I have to go to the cinema and watch movies.
40% profit.
Yeah, 40% profit. Okay, so then let me say, I used to work with the National Theatre as artistic director, dance director, and stuff like that. So I mean, with the musicians, most of the musicians, we used to work with them like TikTok, and you know, we started Fun World and stuff like that. Okay, so that's where I think we explained to them how to make money and stuff like, I mean, how to come out, and they all, I mean, TikTok or Bravo, I mean, almost all of them, you know.
Wow.
And they come out great. Yeah.
You know, we've got about 11 minutes. I think that we should take the celebration one notch higher and invite our audience to, you know, phone in and have a chat with the legend. You can call us on 020 000 9951 or 059 415 7777. All right, so the numbers again, 020 000 9951 or 059 415 7777. Adjetey, if you look back at your life, and if you were to write and describe your own life, what would you say? How would you describe the life you've lived?
I think I've lived, I mean, great enough, you know, in terms of greatness. I think God have put me in the right position, because a lot of things that have happened in my way that shouldn't, you know, that should bring me down, you know, it's like always, you know, let me put it this way, you know, a week before even the World Dancing Competition, after escaping a whatever, I was knocked by a car in London.
Wait,
and instead of me,
you almost got deported. Carry on. And
a
then
week
you
before
got
the
hit by a
dancing
car.
competition, I was hit by a car, and instead of me, because that was a zebra crossing, so I was supposed to make money out of it, but I just ran off, go under the, you know, because of, you know,
because you
oh no, you could take Italy, just ran off.
The fugitive.
Wow.
And then in 87, I came back home, and was like, people were saying, you know, I think around 86, by then, Embassy Double Do have started their dancing competition and stuff like that, and I think Slim Bastard, he was a
Slim
dancer
had
as well.
won, yeah.
And Slim was my friend as well back in the days, so he also have to come to London to be part of the dancing competition. I mean, because Malibu is more bigger, but then there's another one. Like these days we have, I mean, back in the days we have Miss Malaika, Miss Ghana.
So there are different versions of that. Yeah.
So he won the Ghana, you know, I think it's 685, and then you have to participate in the World Dancing Competition that called Hippodrome Concord World Dancing Competition. So you know, so a friend told me that there's a dancing competition going on. I think a month before the Malibu, there's a dancing competition going on. So you know, I said okay, because I used to dance with this guy in the club in London. So it's from Philippines. So we used to do a lot of that. So he told me. So we went over there to watch the dancing competition, and I saw Slim Bastard, which I know him from Ghana. When he mentioned Ghana, Slim Bastard, I mean, that was cool. So after that, Slim, like, you know, he wanted to hang around me, you know, we just went to town, whatever. So, I mean, after the dancing competition, I went to Switzerland. We had me and my guy, like Philippine guy, we had a contract to go to Switzerland. I mean, to dance over there in the clubs like that. We have a year. So, I was in Switzerland when my dad called me that, there's some people were saying, you know, I took Slim, instead of Slim to dance, I was the one who, you know, put Slim aside and dance and whatever it is. I'm like, no, that's not true. Because if, you know, organizers, when I came back home, so, you know, so when I was in Switzerland, I said, okay, let me come to Ghana after the contract. So I came back to Ghana, and my father showed me the papers, we put it out there, whatever it is. And at the moment I saw the newspaper, the owner of the newspaper, I know, okay, so I know where that was coming from, you know, because, you know, that editor, whatever it is, like I'm saying, the woman, whatever it is, I think that woman, whatever,
somebody stole somebody else's property.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's where, you know. So when I came back, that wasn't true. And the organizers themselves.
You take my woman, I'll take your shine.
So the organizers themselves, you know, I mean, in Ghana, the organizers themselves, I mean, organizing a competition and stuff like that. Following year, 87, I was one of the judges, and even Miss Ghana was one judges and stuff like that. So if that is true, they won't allow me to, you know, so that cleared my name a lot, you know. So.
Yeah. Well, a message on Facebook from Eric Opoku Moses says, more fire and encouragement to Mr. Adjetey Sowah. You're an inspiration and a positive influence on the youth. I love you and Reggie. So you started building at 19. Did you finish that house?
Oh, long time.
Long time.
Yeah.
So you've gone on to build more?
Yeah, I'm into real estate, and I own a hotel as well.
Well, at 19, you would expect him, you know, by the time he's like 70, you own a whole city.
My word.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
You know, this is so humbling, you know, that as we prepare to wrap this up, for me, what I'm taking away from this is that your talent will make way for you, but without wisdom, you'd lose it. And you had your dad to advise you to use the money. I mean, you talk about how you'd have preferred to have maybe, you know, furthered your education. But Charlie, there are people who have PhDs and they're still renting. So, you know.
Yeah.
You know?
There's one thing I forgot to say about these guys doing their thing, like the Dance God and Incredible Ziggy. I think recently they have a music award, the music awards, and I presented the award for what do you call it? Is it Dancehall Artist of the Year?
That's right.
I put it out there. You know, back in the days, I mean, let me say, when they are doing music awards, there's a what do you call it? Awards for dancers as well, which I remember I've won the what do you call it, the best dancer, best choreographer, best whatever it is. So I'm putting it out there that, I mean, these guys are doing it as well. I mean, the artists are paying them to, you know, I mean, to use their music and whatever it is. And music is everywhere, and the same thing, music always go with dance. You know, music always go with dance. So I don't see the reason why when you're doing the music award, you know, I mean, you should also, you know.
Well, I think there's even a dance. There's a music video category.
Thank you.
And so, did you ever feature in music videos?
Of course, back in the days, a lot. You know.
Okay.
Kojuenchu music, Daddy Lumba, you know, all those things.
Wow.
It gets to a point I don't even. I mean, I always choreograph and stay back.
I'm watching Nicholas Amaniampon says, "Wow, legend in the house. Much respect for Adjetey Sowah." And I think we've got quite a number of other comments coming through on our Facebook. Okay. Now, so let's if you really, you could watch the entire interview on our YouTube channel. It's Asaase Extra with an X and just XTRA. That's right. And follow the conversation also on the Facebook stream. We've been talking to Adjetey Sowah, the world dance champion, 1986.
And looking like he won it yesterday.
You know, yeah. I was just wondering. I mean, we know where Rennie was in 1986. I mean, I'm not going to mention a certain citizen of Sakrawono, but we'll leave it at that. Final words before we part, Adjetey. I want you to speak to some young people who are looking to be famous. They're looking to make it in life. Maybe a few examples of how not to do it or how to do it. Over to you, sir.
First of all, whatever talent that they have, they should focus and do it well, and also make sure they take their education down seriously. With your education, whatever you do, you can, when you go out there, you express. You can express yourself very well. It doesn't matter the language or whatever, but then you can express yourself very well. And then stay out of drugs. Stay out of drugs is very important, because I remember some of my guys, they go away watered because of drugs and stuff like that. So I'll tell them, focus, be prayerful, and make sure whatever you're doing, make sure you do it right.
Wow, it's just wonderful talking to you, and I walk away from this with your humility, and also, we've got 2 minutes. Can I put you on the spot? If Rennie played something nice, I'm tempted to say I want to challenge you to a dance off, but so I'd want you to bust a few moves if it's.
But there's no stage here.
There's no stage for that. You need more room for that. Right. Well, then maybe we'll have to try and do something special. When we have a decent stage. But we're grateful for you joining us in the studio.
We have a stage.
There's space over there.
No. We'll join you. I'll do the backing dancer moves like this in the background if you promise. Please,
all right. Well, Rennie, you can play us out. This has been the Asaase Breakfast Show. I've been doing this with Benjamin Addo and Nhyira Mensah. We've had a blast today. Two legends in one day on our show.
I'm in awe.
Thank you.
God bless you and keep you.
Same here.
And
thank you.
Continue to inspire.
Amen.